I'm sure I don't need to say that this Sunday is Easter Sunday, the greatest feast in the church year. This is the day that we celebrate Christ's resurrection and the full flowering of God's love extended to us through all time. It's been a long year for all of us across the country and certainly here in Knoxville and among our congregation. And we are so excited that this Easter we are really ready to have folks back in and to start moving in some more natural and normal ways. So we will have our normal 7 o'clock service, which blends some of the Easter Vigil into it with the lighting of the Paschal candle. And then we'll have identical services at 9, 10:30, and at noon. And please note that all of these services are by reservation only, and that's to really help us to accommodate the most number of people and to do it safely so that we can allow for folks to be distanced who need that distance and to allow for us to have the maximum number of people in our building as possible. We do still have openings for the 7 o'clock and the noon. The 9 and the 10:30 are full, but if you are still wanting to have a reservation, please contact the cathedral, and we'll get you in either at 7 o'clock or at noon. And of course, the 10:30 will be broadcast on Channel 12 as well as on YouTube, and you can go back and watch it later as well. We will even be having brass at 9 and 10:30, which we're very excited about. Again, as a way to acknowledge the situation that we're in. The brass will all have cloth mask coverings over their instruments. So we're still trying to do things in a very safe way, but in a way that will allow us to return to normal and to experience that Easter joy. And so, of course, we'll have all of the traditional prayers and the readings, and, of course, the very familiar music that we associate with Easter. We will have the Hallelujah Chorus. And at the end of the service, we will have Jesus Christ is risen today. And of course, no Easter would be complete without a little bit of Vidor at the end. So we have a lot of wonderful celebratory music. We will be able to be together and to worship together and to celebrate the resurrection in person. And we really hope that this will be a wonderful time for your families as we join together as the St. John's family. And so we also can return to some of those really beautiful signs and symbols that we associate with the season. One of the things that has always attracted to me about our tradition is our use of symbols. And sometimes they pass so quickly and we kind of lose track of them. But especially here on Easter, think about the movement that we do. Think about the ways that we communicate God's love to us through our words and actions. One small thing that I'll offer up to you, it's always been very meaningful to me to think about how God has extended God's love to people throughout all of history. And of course, in the First Testament, we read about the deliverance of the children of Israel and how they came through the Red Sea. And that's, for a long time, there's been a lot of imagery about the coming through the Red Sea that's associated with Easter. This idea that God is drawing us through our trials and bringing us into a promised land of love, that God has always been drawing us towards himself and towards love. And one way that we symbolize that is when we get to the Eucharist and we do the fraction of the bread, and the priest, the celebrant, takes the host and breaks it into two. And of course, there's the obvious echo there of Christ's body being broken for us, and that's sometimes where we fixate more. But have you ever considered how that when he breaks the host, that there are those two walls of bread on either side, like the two walls of water that the Israelites passed through? So as we celebrate passing through from darkness into light, from COVID into a more normal kind of life, from winter into spring, we look forward to worshiping with you. So join us here at St. John's for Easter.